So hello once again, it's Claudia here. If you don't know me, I am a nutrition and dietetic clinician and the founder of the Recover from HA support group and the Period Comeback protocol. And we are here today to talk about cortisol control. And I'm going to discuss the 3 ways that you can use to harmonize hormones and also restore the cycle. So first of all, I also would like to address the fact that cortisol is not the bad guy. We definitely need cortisol. And when cortisol is absolutely suppressed and our adrenal glands cannot produce it, it means that we are suffering from an autoimmune conditions or we are suffering from something which is called adrenal exhaustion. And the symptoms are pretty dramatic, meaning that people cannot really get out of bed, they feel very tired, and so on and so forth. So having a decent amount of cortisol to control our metabolism, to help us to respond to a stress situation or a fearful situation is absolutely imperative. But today we are going to address more of the techniques that we can use when cortisol is too high and is stopping us from getting the period back, or when we have that chronic underlying anxious thoughts which are brewing underneath. And if you resonate with any of that, if you are in a place where you are feeling pretty anxious throughout the day, where you haven't had a period for quite a long time, and where you're also wondering, is it the stress that is actually preventing me from getting the period back? Just please type it in the comment section. I always love seeing what you have to say. So in today's fast-paced world, it's not uncommon for our bodies to hear the brunt of stress, right? And our adrenal glands, which are the ones that produce the stress hormones cortisol, can also sometimes become overworked and lead to a range of health issues. Now, we have all heard the term adrenal fatigue. I'm not a big fan of using it, but I'd rather say HPA axis dysregulation, which is normally something that women with HA experience, because there is that HPA axis dysregulation, meaning that the hypothalamus is not talking to the pituitary gland, which is not talking with the thyroid, adrenal, and glands and the reproductive system. Okay, so whether you're having irregular periods, or you're suffering from mood swings, or you don't have a sex drive, or you're feeling anxious most of the time, or even if you're experiencing fibromyalgia, hair loss, chronic pain, chronic fatigue syndromes, today I'm going to share a few techniques that you can implement starting tonight, this morning, today, depending on where you are in the world and where you're looking from, that can really help you to modulate the stress response. Some of these techniques can be used easily, and maybe some of you cannot implement a few of them simply because there is some resistance, or there is also a physical resistance, meaning that you're in a situation where you can't really move your body freely. So let's get into it without any further ado. So the first one that we are going to discuss about is how to manage stress. So one of my go-to stress management techniques, especially for when I feel that my system has been in overdrive and is out of the comfort zone when it comes to perceiving stress and anxiety, I always go back to mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness meditation is really a powerful tool for reducing stress and also to restore the hormonal level. And this practice involves focusing your attention on the present moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. So when we're talking about mindfulness meditation, it's not something that you have to do for an hour each day. You can simply do it 3 times throughout the day for like even 1 or 2 minutes. And you don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor and close your eyes and your heart out unless you feel called to do so. You simply need to come back to the present moment, because that's an example that I often use with my clients. And I don't know about you, but when I am in a rushed state, I, for example, make myself a cup of tea and I don't even let the water boil, and I'm already like answering to messages on Instagram, and then I stop the water from boiling. I make my tea. I don't even let the tea brew for more than a couple of minutes because I'm already thinking about what's going to happen afterwards. And that's going to really increase the stress response. So a mindfulness practice, a mindfulness meditation practice could be simply look at your kettle while the water is boiling without switching it off before it completely boils, or letting the tea brew for 3 to 4 minutes and just watching it in the meantime. And that can really help your monkey mind to go from the past to the future like a ping pong ball to come back to the present moment. The other techniques that I often use with my clients and also with myself is the deep breathing exercise. So deep diaphragmatic breathing is another effective stress management technique. And by engaging your diaphragm and taking slow, deep breath, you activate the body relaxation response. All right. So my go-to when it comes to deep breathing, it's morning and night. So when you wake up in the morning, if you can do so, just place your hands on your belly and just feel the rise and the fall of your belly for like 4 or 5 or even 10 big, deep belly breath, and see if you can focus your mind on the breathing and on your belly without allowing it to go everywhere that it sometimes wants to go. And the same thing just before you go to sleep at night, that's also something else that you can do to simply tune into that relaxation state, so all the muscles can completely melt into the mattress and you're gonna have the best sleep. Yoga, it's a holistic practice that combines physical postures, breath control, and meditation all at once. So if you're trying to reduce your exercise output but you still would like to be active, yoga is definitely a go-to. Another thing that I really enjoy is the progressive muscle relaxation, which is something that I normally invite women to do when they are in a stressful state, but not in a super heightened stressful state. And it's the best time for me to do it is just before going to sleep. So these techniques involve systematically tensing and relaxing muscle groups in your body to release physical tension and to reduce the stress. So by focusing on different muscle groups and consciously releasing tension, you can create a profound sense of relaxation, which in turn obviously helps lower cortisol level. And then another thing that I would like to mention, regular physical activity can definitely help if it's not done too excessively. So for example, going for a walk at lunchtime, just to take a breather, just to create that buffer between clients, or whenever you feel a little bit stressed, and that could be even in the morning, planting your feet in the grass or on the ground, it's very healing on its own. And if you live next to the ocean, absolutely just go for a walk there and really breathe in all the healing property of Mother Earth. Now, shifting gear a little bit, so we have spoken about the stress techniques that you can use to really modulate the cortisol response. And other things that I really would like to touch upon is balanced nutrition, especially if you are dealing with hypothalamic amenorrhea, making sure that you're eating consistently. It's really important, because let's say that you do your yoga, you do your walking, the progressive muscles relaxation, that you're breathing throughout the day, that you're very mindful, but you're not allowing your body to get the right nutrients that it needs to feel safe, then you're not going to go anywhere. All right. So you cannot pretend to starve your body from the first part of your day until, for example, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or sometimes even just 10 o'clock without feeling anxious, without your body perceiving that as a stressor. Okay. So I normally recommend regularity and consistencies of meals. So eating regular balanced meals throughout the day can help stabilize blood sugar level and preventing spikes that trigger cortisol release. So even though in the past you thought that intermittent fasting could have been helpful for your health in general, the reality is that it can really create those spikes in cortisol, and that can be detrimental not only for your anxious thoughts, but also for the restoration of your hormones. Skipping meals can lead to blood sugar fluctuations, and once again, it can disrupt hormonal cycles. So prioritizing consistent meal timing to support the hormonal balance is absolutely key. Another things that I'm gonna say, and some of you are gonna roll your eyes and think, oh my God, Claudia, this again. High caffeine and alcohol intake can contribute to elevated cortisol level. Okay, so to maintain hormonal harmony, let's call it that way, it's important to reduce or sometimes eliminate these substances from your diet, especially in the hours leading up to the bedtime. So normally when it comes to caffeine, I tend to ask my clients, simply switch to herbal teas, green tea in moderation, decaf coffee, especially the one that it's made with water and not with chemicals, or chicory coffee, chicory tea, dandelion tea, that it's really supportive of the liver as well. And then if you're really feeling called to have a coffee, especially if you tend to suffer from migraines and headaches, and you find that caffeine withdrawal can really trigger those symptoms, I say, wake up, have your breakfast, and whenever you feel that you're in a relaxed state, welcome that cup of coffee with a little bit of milk, if you can, even with a teaspoon of collagen inside, and simply make sure that you have a snack and a glass of water just half an hour after having the coffee. Alcohol, unfortunately, can interfere with your sleep quality, can exacerbate the stress, can create that hangover feeling, and can really leak all the important nutrients out of your body. So when is a good time to drink alcohol? The reality is that for a woman, never. So there are no benefits in terms of drinking alcohol, but I do understand that it's part of a social life, and some people really enjoy the taste of it. So I normally say, don't go overboard. Always allow yourself at least 4 nights per week without drinking any alcohol. And when you do drink it, make sure that you space it out, that you have food in between, especially food that it's really high in antioxidants, and allow yourself also to have a big, good glass of water after finishing your glass of wine or any type of alcohol that you prefer. And last but not least, obviously, stay hydrated. So dehydration can actually contribute to stress and cortisol release. So ensuring that you're drinking enough water throughout the day, it's imperative. And hydration support overall bodily function, and including hormonal regulation. And I find that nowadays, women, they do survive on lots of teas, lots of coffees, lots of kombucha, and they tend to forget the importance of drinking a good old glass of filtered water. So if you can, and if you enjoy it, just make sure that it becomes part of your routine. Last tip that I really would like to talk about today is adequate sleep. And let me tell you, lovely, for the first time in a long time, last night I went to sleep at 7:30. I was feeling very tired. I felt that my body was heavy. I was in pain, basically everywhere, from my neck to my back to my leg, and I didn't know what was going on. And my brain felt really cluttered and heavy. So I tried to read a book just to make sure that I could stay awake for at least a couple of hours after having dinner. But there was no way. Like, sleep was calling me. So I went to sleep very early, and I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, which is shocking. It's something that hasn't happened for the longest time. And even though my brain is still trying to catch up with what is going on, because I'm still in la la land, I can already feel the difference compared to yesterday. My muscles are not as sore. My body has the energy to actually interact with people and do things, and and I don't know, life is looking better, even though it's raining outside and it's not the most wonderful day, life is already looking better. So that's just to underline the importance of sleep. So if you had a small baby, the first thing that you would do is to establish a sleep routine. But as we grow, especially once we become teenagers, the sleep routine goes out of the window. But it's really so important to bring it back, especially if you're struggling to go to sleep at night, or if you wake up throughout the night and you don't feel refreshed when you're awake. So establishing a consistent sleep schedule is essential for hormonal balance. So go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends, if you can. Creating a routine really helps regulate your body's internal clock, ensuring that the hormonal processes occur as they should, all right? So establishing the sleep routine can really lead to fabulous outcome in the future. Always be aware of your sleep environment because it plays a crucial role in the quality of your rest. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, quiet to promote restful sleep. If you can, invest in a comfortable mattress, a good, nice pillows. They normally say change your pillows every 6 months. I haven't done that for quite a while, but that's something that it's important to remind ourselves, especially if you're suffering from skin condition or if you have any allergy, just make sure that you invest in a good quality pillows that can really help that sleep at nighttime. Obviously, when we're talking about sleep environment and sleep routine, limiting screen time, it's paramount. So reducing exposure to screens such as phones, computers, TVs before bedtime is really vital because the blue light emitted by screens can disrupt your sleep-wake cycle because it's telling your pineal gland not to produce melatonin, which is the hormones that help you to sleep longer and better. So if you can, prioritize relaxation activities like reading, taking a warm bath, practicing gentle stretching, yoga before bed. We also spoke about the progressive muscle relaxation, the mindfulness techniques, the breathing, so you can incorporate all of that just half an hour before going to sleep. If you enjoy scrolling through social medias, I really invite you to ask the hard questions, meaning how do you feel after you stop watching, after you switch off your phone? And do you find that you start scrolling through your phone, telling yourself that you want to just be there for 10 minutes, and then half an hour later, you're still scrolling through YouTube shorts, reels, Facebook messages, articles on your phone? And if that's what's happening for you, I really invite you to find a way so that you can limit or completely obliterate the screen time just an hour before going to sleep. Relaxation before bed is very important, and we have already touched upon that. And the last one that I already mentioned before, but I would like to underline, is limiting stimulants. So avoid stimulating substances like caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol in the evening. It's important because they can interfere with the ability to fall asleep and to stay asleep. And limiting these stimulants in the hours leading up to bedtime can contribute to a better sleep quality overall. If you tend to wake up in the middle of the night because you have to go to the bathroom, I would like to say that that's very common for women that suffer from hypothalamic amenorrhea because the low level of estrogen trigger your urethra to become really sensitive, and the lining of the urethra become also really thin. If you tend to wake up at the same time in the middle of the night, it could also be caused by a blood sugar roller coaster or because you haven't had enough food before going to sleep. So that's also something that I advise you to have a look at. And if you wake up every single morning at 4 and you can't fall back to sleep, I also invite you to see what's triggering that wake up, and if you can actually stay in bed for a little bit longer and see if you can doze off and fall back to sleep and really recharge your body and your brain in that extra half an hour. If you're having big issues at nighttime because you wake up and you can't fall back to sleep, you can also use Yoga Nidra. That's the only time the phones are allowed in bed. You can put on Yoga Nidra on your phone, and you can plug in your earplugs if you're sleeping with someone, or another guided meditation that can allow you to relax the muscles and go into that beautiful deep sleep. Alrighty, so today we spoke about the 3 best ways to modulate your stress response and your cortisol production. The first one is finding the stress management techniques that work for you. The second one is to eat balanced meals, and when I say balanced, they must. I invite you to have regular meals, consistent meals with a great variety, making sure that you're not starving your body, and that also includes hydrating your body. Also steer away from caffeine and alcohol as much as you can if getting your period back, your hormones back on track, and your fertility back is something that is important to you. And last but not least, really invest your time to find out how you can prioritize and boost your sleep quality if that's something that you're struggling with at this time. If you're called to check in with me and to find a customized approach to get your period back and to feel more vital, get your mojo back, sex drive back, energy back, please make sure that you DM me today and just type cortisol so I will know exactly which type of video you have watched. And as a reminder, I'm running a masterclass, a free masterclass. It's a live training and it lasts for approximately 60 minutes on the 10th of October here in Australia. So for the US, UK, it's approximately 2 p.m. in the US and 7 p.m. in the UK, 8 p.m. in Europe, and it's 7 a.m. on the 10th in New Zealand. So if you want to join the masterclass, the 5 steps to get your period back in 90 days, make sure to check in and join me. My link, I'm actually going to post it down below, and you can also find it on my Instagram bio or also at the top of the Recover from HA support group. Enough for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with another amazing live. Thank you. Bye.